Hi there, and thanks for joining me for another edition of your Wheel and Anchor vaccine newsletter. No, I'm just kidding, actually. We're not going to be talking about vaccines this week. I think we'll leave that subject for a little while. But as I was deliberating what to include in this week's newsletter, I was in Facebook and looking at our travel group, and a photo popped up from one of our last trips 2 years ago. We went to Croatia and the Adriatic coast. I know it's a trip that's on our future agenda as well, and it brought back so many memories of all the fun, the great times that we had. And that's kind of the neat thing. Not that I'm a huge advocate of Facebook, but it does have these neat little twists where it reminds us of some of these great memories that we have. And in particular, as we approach Canada Day next week, it reminded me how grateful I am to be a Canadian traveler in particular. And when I think about some of those things that I'm grateful for, I think about, and I am going to talk about vaccines, because frankly, the fact that we have gone from sort of way behind in the pack to being one of the forefront leaders of the vaccination program just shows it's testament to who we are as a society and how we relate to this topic, such that we put the collective ahead. And that really makes me grateful, and that will certainly bode us well as Canadians as we travel out in the hopefully not too distant future, because I think that we'll get recognition for that fact. Secondly, just having a Canadian passport, and sometimes I think we almost even take it for granted, but Canadian passports allow us to travel in around 150 countries without requiring a vaccine, and that's a pretty remarkable thing. Not to mention that beyond the bureaucracy aspect of it, but Canadians are warmly welcomed in so many countries around the world, and I really do see the difference in talking to not only our partners and other people that we meet along the way, but there is such a high respect and regard for Canadians when they're out in the world, and that really makes me grateful as somebody who obviously travels a lot. And finally, it's just the overall vibe of traveling with other Canadian travelers. And I'm sure those of you who've traveled with groups before and have seen some of the other groups that travel around, I honestly do think that we tend to be more respectful. We have a better sense of humor. We have a lot more, meaningful inquiry into what life is actually like in many of the other countries. And I get this feedback often from our guides who really sort of praise the Canadian attitude. So as we approach Canada Day, take a few minutes to think about some of those things that we are grateful for as Canadians in general, but as I was saying, as Canadian travelers, and the benefits that we enjoy when we venture out into the world. This coming week, because it's Canada Day next Thursday, we're going to be skipping our usual webinar, but we'll be back on July the 8th on Thursday for our next much anticipated webinar. That's about our live away in Tuscany that's happening in April of 2022. So please do join us for that. You'll find a link in the blog below. I'm excited to bring you the newest of our live away programs. And following that, we'll have a webinar on the 15th of July about our Canal du Midi program. That's in southwestern France. We're going to be traveling by houseboat down this legendary canal through some of the most beautiful countryside that you find. So all about that program on July the 15th. And as well, we are releasing in this week's newsletter the latest rendition of our Egypt by Private Dahabia. That's a special vessel that only accommodates 12 guests in 6 cabins. Our first program that we released a few weeks back was sold out within about a day. And so we immediately rushed to put another one in the program, because I know that there's a number of members who are really keen on going on that trip next March. So if you're interested in Egypt, you'll find the pamphlet for the second program attached below. So I look forward to catching up with you again next week. Happy Canada Day, and take care of yourselves, and I'll look forward to seeing you again soon.